Of course you think about your heart. And I know you think about blood clots, cholesterol, arterial plaque, and everything else on this list. And that makes sense. But these aren't separate problems. They're all downstream of the same few systems that can be easily supported with a small, clinically backed supplement stack. Hi, I'm Danny Curtin. Thank you for joining me today. When you look at all of these concerns, do you see the commonality that emerges? Blood flow and circulation. Without proper blood flow, the heart has to work harder and there's more wear and tear on the entire system. Now, one of the biggest contributors to poor blood flow is excess fibrin, a necessary protein, but unfortunately fibrin often builds up as we age. Now, fibrin creates a cobweb-like effect in the bloodstream, causing sluggish circulation, increased shear stress, and reduced delivery of oxygen and other nutrients. That's why healthy blood flow should be the foundational goal of any heart health regimen. And with that, the number one supplement on my list, Nattokinase, the clinically studied blood cleansing enzyme that helps break down excess fibrin without interfering with normal, healthy clotting. Now, when you support the fibrin clearing system with Nattokinase, blood flows naturally, resistance normalizes, and excess heart strain is avoided. With proper blood flow, we can have a direct impact on many of the items on our list of concerns. Now, once we have a strong foundation and healthy blood flow, we move on to calcium handling. But that doesn't mean you need more calcium. It simply means we want calcium to do its job, keep the heart beating normally, and then move into the bones for storage. But that can only be done if you have ample amounts of these next two essential nutrients. The first is good old vitamin D. Now, any form of vitamin D will work, but vitamin D3 is biologically preferred since that's what our bodies make when we go in the sun. And it raises vitamin D blood levels much more effectively than vitamin D2. Now, vitamin D brings calcium into circulation so it can be properly used and distributed throughout the entire body. Next, working with vitamin D is vitamin K, more specifically, vitamin K2, which manages blood calcium's liquid form. Without K2, calcium can harden in the bloodstream and essentially turn into bone. Now, K2 directs blood calcium away from arteries and soft tissue and directs it into bones and teeth. Now, even though these are two different nutrients, they are highly dependent on each other. Both should be taken together, and personally, I like to take a single product that blends both nutrients. Next on the list comes magnesium. We all know that magnesium is necessary for relaxation, sleep, normal bowel function, and muscle and nerve function. But did you know that vitamin D doesn't work if it's not activated by magnesium? This is something you really need to keep in mind, especially if you've had a vitamin D blood test. Even if your vitamin D blood levels are high, if you're deficient in magnesium, that vitamin D blood level means nothing. That's why magnesium belongs in this core cardiovascular stack. Now, at this point, we've addressed blood flow, calcium placement, and overall system stability. The next question is simple. Does the heart have enough energy to beat over 100,000 times every single day? Because if it doesn't, the mitochondria inside your cells aren't able to produce energy properly, and they begin to leak free radicals. Now, free radicals in the circulatory system can damage heart cells, blood vessels, and arteries. But this is an easy fix. Mitochondria use CoQ10 as fuel to create the energy that powers every heartbeat. When CoQ10 levels are adequate, the heart can contract strongly without being pushed beyond its limits. And if you're on a statin, you really need to listen up. CoQ10 is made through the same pathway as cholesterol. When statins drop cholesterol, they drop CoQ10 too. Now, with enough energy, we've got more support for healthy circulation, blood pressure, and the avoidance of arterial damage. At this point, we've made huge strides in protecting our heart, but to make this stack even stronger, we need to address inflammation. Because when blood vessels are constantly put under inflammatory stress, they begin to lose their elasticity, a direct cause of the hardening of the arteries, and an environment where plaque is more likely to form and progress. That's why I like omega-3 fatty acids, which are part of cell membranes throughout the cardiovascular system. They support healthy triglyceride levels, red blood cell flexibility, and they minimize friction inside blood vessels and arteries. allowing blood to move freely, which again provides more support for better circulation, blood pressure, and less arterial damage. And finally, even when all of that is in place, blood vessels need to be able to relax and tighten depending on blood and oxygen needs. That responsiveness is controlled by nitric oxide. There are many different ingredients that support normal nitric oxide amounts, but I'm partial to the amino acid L-citrulline. L-citrulline supports nitric oxide production by increasing arginine levels inside the body where nitric oxide is actually made. Now, unlike taking arginine itself, which has a minimal impact, citrulline is absorbed efficiently and converted to a more bioavailable form of arginine, easily converting into nitric oxide as needed. Now, this allows arteries to dilate instead of staying tight and resistant. Blood pressure normalizes, circulation runs optimally, and the heart doesn't have to deal with excess strain. When you look at this plan, system by system, the order matters. Based on your budget, start at the top and work your way down. Each layer builds on the one before it, giving you the best options to take control of your heart health. Support the systems, and you support the heart. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment below with any questions, suggestions, or thoughts. And as always, please like and subscribe. Again, I'm Danny Curtin. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.